Victory Sessions with Stephen K. Bannon, powered by Victory Film Group.
This is Stephen K. Bannon, the Victory Sessions. Talk Radio 790 KBC, Los Angeles, California, capital of the Pacific. We are very honored tonight to have as our guest Todd Palin, husband of Governor Sarah Palin.
First dude.
Yeah, the first dude, as he's been called. The film we're discussing is The Undefeated. That's going to be out nationwide this weekend. It's already been played. It's already been in theaters, played for the last 30 days on nationwide on pay-per-view and video on demand. It's in Walmart stores on Tuesday, Target, Best Buy, and Blockbuster. So it's Todd. When the governor returned, not only was it a totally changed political environment, it seems to me that the Republican establishment, who had never really embraced the governor because she was an agent of change and she was an existential threat to the way the good old boy system worked in Juneau. And in addition, the Democrats clearly looked like they were getting guidance from the national, or at least from the national Democratic leadership, that not to support this woman because this woman is potentially incredibly popular. When you got back basically in December, the governor resigned in July. Walk through your guys as a couple and as a team, because you guys are clearly a team, the thinking that brought you to that momentous decision.
The July 09 decision, or?
Yes, the July 09, yeah.
I mean, I could talk for hours on Obama's relationship with Alaska, because Pete Rouse, who was his chief of staff as, Senator Obama, and so he's got strong ties to Alaska. So when she, was selected to be on the ticket with Senator McCain, I mean, all the Democrats up here, they pretty much, turned that switch against her. But coming back to Alaska, I mean, it was a whole different world. Like I was telling early in the other segment, working with people side by side, then you come back and they don't even know you. And then, watching her go to work in handcuffs is because, as soon as we came back, ethics.
Now, and just to put this in perspective, when she left in August, now you returned 66 days later in late November, December, but when she had left, not only were the ratings high, I believe, and I didn't have time to put this in the film, but they had done a questionnaire. The newspaper done a questionnaire to the legislators, and they had said it was the most successful legislative session they had ever had. They believed in the history of Alaska, that more had been accomplished in a more positive, working together, nonpartisan manner, with these monumental things passed with overwhelming majorities, and the people really came together. That was in August. You come back, so it's the highest ratings Gallup had ever had for any sitting governor. The legislators are on record as saying the most successful legislative session possibly in the history of the state. So these are not just average things. These are so far over the mean, right? You come back 66 days later or 70 days later, and it's just a radically transformed environment, correct?
Oh, it's just unbelievable. Just ethic complaint after ethic complaint, and watching her go to work in handcuffs because she's spending so much time going through.
These ethics complaints are just by either bloggers or people. There's a way to kick up the dust in Alaska that because of a wrinkle in state law that it's easy to file these things, and they get to just be a whole exercise in and of themselves, correct?
And then every move that her administration made or planned to make on a national level, she was getting criticized for, every step that she tried to move the state in. And so that, was harming the state because a lot of the mainstream media wanted to, shed a bad light on Sarah and on Alaska.
One of the things that's very providential, though, is after that July decision, is that in hindsight, particularly given the historic victory of the Tea Party in the election of November 2010, that if Governor Palin, if it hadn't happened in that kind of timing, Governor Palin really became, the Tea Party does not have a leader, but it certainly had several people who kind of were the spiritual drivers of it. And that's where I first actually never met Governor Palin, but became really acquainted with her. I was making these films about the rise of the financial collapse of the country and the rise of the Tea Party. I noticed this leader, this woman that came out and not just connected with the audience, but spoke in a very plain spoken but sophisticated way about limited government and the future of the country. When did you start to see that? Because no elected official in the Republican Party would really stand with the Tea Party. It was really a collection of just citizens coming to the council. When did you see Governor Palin really start to say that this movement really could be something special?
She was involved early on. She's not one to test the wind, and she just started gathering information, and she's like, I'm getting behind the Tea Party. I'm going to help whoever I can. It's a great movement.
Her interest, and this came up in the speech that was given several weeks ago over Labor Day in Iowa. This thing of crony capitalism. If you go back and look at her record as a leader and as a politician, whether it was at Wasilla and City Council, or whether it was as mayor, or whether it was her run for the governorship, or whether it was the way she comported herself and governed as governor, and then her involvement in the Tea Party. She has always had a very special place for what I call populism, or representing the little guy, representing the middle class and the working class against vested interests, particularly when vested interests are not working on the side of the people. Have you noticed that that's been a constant theme in her political life?
Oh, there's no question. She's not afraid to go against the grain and rub shoulders with people that are in politics for a certain reason, and the reason not being the people that they're representing. And so, she's for the people, never one to have a lot of strings attached to her, if any. And so that really rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, especially here in Alaska, where you have a group that the movers and shakers that always have the phone number of the governor, and they pretty much didn't have that when she was governor.
Is that the way Alaska has been? Is that there's a political or financial elite that feels very tied to either the big natural resource companies or big oil that feel that they have to be dialed into a governor and that they want special privileges and be treated in a certain way?
Well, I think you could divide that by two, where oil industry, and then maybe some of the other movers and shakers of the state, but they both go hand in hand.
My guest is Todd Palin. This is Stephen K. Bannon, the Victory Sessions. We will be back and discuss a little bit about Todd Palin and the Iron Dog and different activities he's been involved in a moment.